Well, we're gonna move on off of Rudy Gobert. You got me like a real hot and bother with that, yo, because that was crazy. But we're gonna move on to the second part of our episode. Because Straight Facts gave out its all NBA selections. We posted it on our Twitter and our Instagram at straightfacts_pod. So and Jake is in there like ready to chomp at the bit, and y'all will understand why in about maybe 2 minutes. But I want to go through the teams real quick. I'll put them up on the screen as well. But for those of you listening, here are the teams. My first team: Steph Curry, Russ, Luka, Jokic, and Giannis. My second team: Dame Lillard, Kyrie, Kawhi, Embiid, Paul George. My third team: CP3, Brad Beal, Julius Randle, Rudy Gobert, Jimmy Butler. Kyle, who's not here with us, his first team: Steph Curry, Dame Lil, Joel Embiid, Jokic, and Giannis. His second team: CP3, Harden, Kawhi, Rudy, and Paul George. His third team: Luka, Russ, LeBron, Nick Vucevic, which I understand what he's doing there, trying to give Vooch some props, and Jimmy Butler to round out his third team. Jake's first team: Steph, Dame, Embiid, Jokic, Giannis. Second team: CP3, Luka, Kawhi, Rudy, the guy he's so against, is on his all-NBA second team, and Jimmy Butler. Third team: James Harden, Russ, LeBron, Zion, and Jonas Valanciunas. Stat Matt, his first team: Steph, CP3. Thank you for what you're doing there, Matt. I really appreciate that. Steph, CP3, Embiid, Jokic, Giannis. Second team: Dame Lil, Luka, Kawhi, Rudy Gobert, Jimmy Butler. Third team: Kyrie Irving, Bradley Beal, Julius Randle, Bam Adebayo, and Paul George. Again, Stat Matt also, the guy who he does not trust in the playoffs, is on his all-NBA second team.
So, all-NBA regular season.
Second team.
Regular season.
But he's a one-dimensional player. He only does one thing. So
that's why he's not first team. He was two-dimension. He'd be first team.
First team. Anyway, okay. We don't have to go back into the Rudy Gobert conversation. It is what it is. We're going to leave it there. But I do want to get into a discussion about our all NBA teams because we all vary a little bit.
I gotta say, Russ on the first team is wild. It's like absolutely nuts.
And I think it's just as wild as just as wild as CP3.
The first 20 games of the season, he was awful. He was playing through a bad quad,
right.
But he was really bad the first 20 games of the season,
and still ended up averaging a triple-double. That's not easy to do. That's very, very hard. Him and Oscar Robertson are the only people to do it. Like, that's very, very hard to do, and he did it again. So I think it's just as of a much of a reach, or maybe just as uncommon as CP3 on the first team. CP3 on the second or third team, yes, like give him the recognition. On the first team,
the difference is he turned the Suns into the second best team in the NBA. Russ made the Wizards go 34-38.
The Suns have a much better roster around CP3 than the Wizards do around Russ. A much better all-around roster.
James,
you know that.
You can argue against
better than anyone else Chris Paul has.
You could argue against Chris Paul. You have CP3 for MVP written right behind you.
That's for the vibes. That's for the vibes. That's for the vibes. People also want Julius Randle in the MVP discussion. He's teetering all around our third teams. So that's for the recognition.
We haven't talked about the Hawks like at all, and they're the 5 seed, and we didn't put Trae Young on any team.
No,
no.
The
Hawks
for that.
Everyone cares. Trae Young was closer to my team than Russell Westbrook was.
I don't. What? He averaged a triple-double.
That's the 4th time he's done it,
which is insane. Don't downplay it. Like, it's like the fact that he did it 4 times over is wild. The fact that he did it once, the fact that he did it twice, 3, 4, like that's wild as well.
It's just because he hit the magic 10 number doesn't mean he's like all of a sudden the 5th best player in the NBA.
They're not
this season.
They're not, and it's not the 5th best player because if this was just straight rankings, there's a lot of people in front of Russ, but it's position wise. And has he been statistically?
He's not been the 2nd best guard in the NBA.
I think he's had the 2nd best guard season in the NBA, like one of the best guard seasons in the NBA. I am unashamed for putting Russ on my first team, just like you're unashamed of putting Chris Paul on your first team.
So, I can't even get into the Russ on the first team. Like I disagree with that. You move Luka Doncic out of position A to put Russell Westbrook on the first team, and then B, you did it to snub Joel Embiid because you knew it would make me, Matt, and Kyle upset. That's why you did it. That's why you did it.
First of all, I don't do things for y'all. I do things for me.
For your enjoyment when we get upset. Correct.
Correct. I wasn't the only person to move somebody out of position, because if I go back and check tape, do you not have Embiid as a forward? Do you not have Embiid as a forward? Now, you are not the only person to have Embiid as a forward, because you're so homer that you can't accept.
He's eligible.
You can't.
He's eligible.
And so is Luka at the forward position, just like Luka is eligible for me. And you guys only do that because, one, you can't accept the fact that Jokic is having now a better season than Embiid and is going to get the MVP and probably first team. There's only one center position, and Embiid can't have it, so you have to move him to forward to get him on the first team. And Luka has spent more time being the forward when Jalen Brunson comes in the game than Embiid has ever spent his forward. When has Embiid played anything other than center? Ever in an NBA game? I don't care. I don't care.
Last year,
I don't care what he's eligible for. But
last year with
Horford, we're not. This isn't last year's awards.
I know, but you're saying whenever in the NBA has he done
whenever
it.
this season. This isn't last year's award. What is it?
Jokic plays forward from time to time. I can make him the forward instead of Embiid. He plays forward more than Embiid does. I can, whatever. Cool.
Also,
wait, I know I don't want to get too hung up on Russ, but I gotta say, Chris Paul, and I know I've kind of gone against win shares a bit, but they do mean something. And Chris Paul is 6th in the NBA in win shares this year.
Okay, flex the win share stats.
Russell Westbrook is 110th.
Fifth best.
Here's some people ahead of Russell Westbrook in win shares. Dwight Howard, Seth Curry.
I'm on the defend
Robert Covington.
That's fine. That's fine.
DeAndre Jordan.
That's
oh
fine.
My God.
That's fine. They don't nearly bring the impact on the game on any other parts of the roster.
See, it's flawed. Russ should be in like the 40s zone.
It's
like
not
30s to 40s.
It's not as egregious as moving someone to a position they literally don't play. You guys watch Sixers games every night, and he never plays forward. I don't even know why he's eligible to be there.
So
You're
here's what I'll tell you.
You know more than the official NBA?
Yes, because he doesn't. Matt, you watch these Sixers games. Wait, he doesn't share the floor with Dwight Howard. Dwight Howard comes in to back him up. So he literally never plays. Luka actually bumps down to the 3.
No, I don't have
comes in the game.
I don't have a problem with you putting Luka as a forward. I don't have a problem with that.
Okay, I do, because here, you're doing it to
you're only doing
for the sole reason of keeping the second best player in the NBA this year off your first team.
You're only doing it.
No. I need to get this out. Because you go and sit there and point to your Jokic. If Joel was healthy the whole year, Joel would have won MVP. That's number one. And then we could put Joel at center over Jokic.
But he wasn't.
Number 2.
But he wasn't.
You put Russell Westbrook in your first team so you could keep Joel off the first team.
I didn't. Truly, I did not. I didn't even realize that that's the transaction that happens until you pointed it out, which does make it a little bit more better. Makes me even more unashamed of it. But don't tell me I moved someone to put somebody else in. You moved Joel Embiid so you could have him on your first team.
Because he deserves it. Russ doesn't deserve it.
That's the only reason that they're allowing Joel Embiid to be eligible at forward, because they know, damn, he probably has to be on the first team. But if
he's been eligible last 3 years.
It should be backcourt and front court. Should be 2 front court, 3 back court.
Well, however you want to change the rules so that Embiid can be first team is fine.
Change the rules. They already said he could be a forward.
Just admit you're bending shit so someone could get in. And just like I am, I am bending shit to put Russ on my first team. But so are you.
Bent it for me. I didn't have to bend it. It was already pre-bent for me.
I'm doing the same thing. And,
all right. So let's just agree to disagree on the first teams. I think a productive exercise would be that we can all agree on. Well, maybe not, but it won't be as adversarial. Is who is the biggest snub out of all of our teams? Is there any player that got left off of? I mean, I guess is the answer Trae Young, as we mentioned. Trae Young didn't make a team
for all of us, but I want to look at. I didn't have Harden. LeBron on my team.
I didn't have LeBron. I don't think I had Harden either. No, I didn't have Harden or LeBron on mine either. They're not snubs to
does
me.
Zach
You got to play.
Zach LaVine a snub? No, with the stacked guard play.
With the yeah, that's tough, especially in the Eastern Conference.
I think there's a lot of ways you can cut it.
Trae Young probably might be the biggest snub for me. I mean, games played mattered, and LeBron didn't play enough games to me to warrant him on this list.
And then, just lastly, and Matt, so you said your biggest snub was LeBron or possibly Harden.
LeBron and Harden.
Harden's my biggest snub. I'll say
Harden's tough because he played like a decent amount of games, but like the first 8 games he played of the season, he was literally like not trying because he wanted to get traded. So you can really only count like 38 of the 46 games he played.
And he's missing the most important ones. He missed the ones coming down the stretch.
Yeah,
but when he played, he like it was like, oh my god, it's impossible to beat the Brooklyn Nets.
But to put him on who you gonna take off? You know. You're for me. You take off Russ, but
for you to be Russell fucking.
If you're Russ, but if who you're gonna take off? CP3, Brad Beal, Kyrie, Dame, like Luka. Who you gonna take off of this list to put James Harden on? I'm not gonna.
Yeah, I can't put James Harden on just because I can't. Brad Beal was the second leading scorer in the NBA. Right. Kyrie Irving had the best season of his career and played like a lot of
more games than any of those two. But Jake, what was your exercise? Go ahead, because we're getting anarchy again.
Well, no, that pretty much was it. Just determining who got left off the chin because we were arguing, who was on there and should be in a different position. I'd say Beal and Irving are probably my two.
It is hilarious that you guys spent a good 5 to 10 minutes slandering Rudy Gobert, only to have him on your second teams. Jake, don't let me scroll again. Okay, I was about to say, like, to have him on your second teams. Second team All NBA, but he's. I
admit it. He's
a one-dimensional.
He is one-dimensional. He is. He's Clint Capella on steroids.
Clint Capella on steroids.
Congratulations.
Clint Capella on steroids.
You get played off the floor in the playoffs.
Clint Capella on. If you get played like Clint Capella on steroids, isn't a second team All NBA player. Maybe third team. I give him.
Rudy Gobert is a player built for the regular season. That's our slander. It's the playoffs, but for the regular season. He's great. If you take for an 82 game or 72 game, however long the season's going to be, Rudy Gobert is the second or the third best center you can pick between Embiid, Jokic, and himself. But when the playoffs come around, I'll take Bam Adebayo before I take Rudy Gobert.
Kyle don't get out of this. He gonna listen to this back. And I'm gonna have to make him.
Since the Hawks no one gives a shit about them, I'm just gonna read Trae Young's stats: 25 points per game, 9 assists, and he shot like where's the fucking advanced numbers? Shit, 59% true shooting, like that, and he's on a team that overachieved and got 41 and 31. Like if the Hawks were the Knicks and the Knicks were the Hawks, everyone would be talking about Trae Young and no one would be talking about Julius Randle.
That's true. How it is inversely. But what I was going to say is Kyle don't get out of having to explain himself at some point, because I love Nick Vooch to the best of them. And that's why I said when I read his list, I appreciate what he's doing. But Nick Vooch on All NBA third team?
Better or worse than me putting Valanciunas?
You have Valanciunas on your third. Way better.
I don't know anything about what Valanciunas has done this year.
Yeah, like where do you get that from? Zion too, dog.
If I were to guess his stats, what are they, like 15 and 8?
It's like whole year. It's like 17 and 12.
That's wow. That's actually
is pretty good.
And in the last, this is what I look at.
Zion's also like what, top 10 in the league in scoring, so he might.
Well, Zion, it was just the efficiency that he has in the paint is
he's like
Shaquille, straight up Shaquille. Like no one does it but Shaq and Giannis. That's about
Zion was a tough cut for me, but I thought I had to put Randall in.
Here's my case for Valanciunas. I didn't think anyone popped in terms of like third string centers. Really, it's like the fourth center, since I have 3 centers in there, James, and whatever. 3 centers in my top 2 teams, so it's really the fourth center. And like when you come down to it, like guys like Bam, I mean, I don't know. Look, Valanciunas, I think his last 10 games, here I'll read off the stats: 17 points, 12.3 rebounds, almost 2 blocks, and 55.6% from 3-point range on almost 1 3-pointer per game. That's knockdown. That's like disgusting.
no-
That's like a 12 game. That's 12 games.
On less
That's
than
a,
a
that's
three,
a
on less,
fifth of a
on
season.
less than a 3 per game. On less than a 3 per game.
That's about a 3 per game.
One
About. So like when you match it up versus Vucevic, I like on my all NBA teams, you could find like the thread. I like giving it to the best player, kind of not worked in through injury. So like LeBron I have on there, Harden I have on there. And then also I like giving it to on the lower teams, newer guys. So Zion's on there and Valanciunas for me. Hey, he propelled them in their fight for the play-in seeds.
Your third team is for your attaboys. For your
It's kind of and I'm a little upset that I couldn't sneak Randall. Like Randall, I would have loved. Right, very attaboy. Third team is that's very well put. That's exactly what it is.
You're attaboys. For that logic, I can't believe Julius Randle's not on there. He's the biggest attaboy in the NBA.
I gotta say, I'm really happy we snubbed him because not because he deserves it, just because I irrationally will hate him for the rest of his career, and that's Jason Tatum. None of us put Jason Tatum.
Oh,
no,
Tatum.
he don't get it. Yeah. He don't get it. His Subway sandwich.
They stink this year, right?
Yeah. I mean, he did just pop in the playing game. I'll get to that. I'll get to that in my at the buzzer. But